And we have been joined by our Senior Food Systems and Nutrition Specialist, Victor Ajieroh. Now, today he'll be talking about nutrition and Nigeria's development, looking at challenges and opportunities in and across a few more sectors than we'd think, and what multi-sectoral coordination is looking like. You are welcome. So when it comes to nutrition and you, there's a very different angle you always come from. Nutrition to you is not just about ourselves and what we put in or what we take in. It also has to do with everything around us, the economy as well, and all of that. So taking a look at Nigeria, for instance, how can we find opportunities in these different places, or where do we look for these opportunities?
Yeah, thank you very much. Like I said the other time, nutrition is a package. Yeah, it's a package. It starts with food, where we also have the nutrients that we derive from. Yeah, but it's just not just the food itself. The water is important. It's an essential nutrient. So you look at issues around water. They used to look at,
Policies and all that have to.
diseases and all that. So when you look at that, you see you're going across sectors. You're going across agriculture. You're into health. You're into water. You're into environment. So that's why you look at it comprehensively. Are those things that can enable you or individuals or societies to be able to thrive, to get nourished and all that. But when it comes to looking at nutrition and development, the main thing is that development is about people. And when we put people first, then that's the easiest way to advance development. And you cannot put people first without addressing their basic needs, and that's where nutrition comes in. And so in doing that, you want to address the very fundamental. You want to address the very basic needs. You want to look at the environment, and that's how it comes. And in looking at that, that's why you look at the opportunities and the challenges. Yeah, bless you. And so it's also important because there are moral minima for humans. And that has to do with those basic things that must be provided. If you look at Nigeria's development vis-a-vis nutrition, we've seen that if you don't get nutrition right, other things also don't get into place. And that's why it's been said that nutrition is an index of a malfunctioning society. And that means if you see nutrition and there are problems and challenges of nutrition, then the society is actually malfunctioning. And there are political failures to address basic and fundamental issues. People have not been put first. The nutrition of women have not been attended to. Our children are exposed to danger. Now just look at a case where our stunting rate, level of, you measure growth in development of children, and use that to also measure the progress of nations. If you look at the North America, stunting rates are like 2.5%. If you look at Nigeria, or a good part of Africa, is over 30%.
Yeah, so
yeah.
When we speak of this development now, when it hits me, what I think of is parastatals, people in places that are supposed to be able to put policies together to make sure that the manpower or the workforce are doing well. Water needs to be provided. Agriculture needs to be something that's top on the list. And they have to be done in such a way that they're hygiene and all of those other things they put. So where do we start from when it comes to development, looking at it from that basic need for human nutrition? Where do we start from? Do we talk about the individual, or we talk about the government?
Yeah, I think it's a bit simultaneous. Yeah, it starts from the individual, but the ecosystem that supports the individual, government is part of that ecosystem and provide that. So there are individual responsibilities in taking care, in providing, in taking decisions that ensures that individuals and family members and communities are healthy. But the government has a role to ensure that the environment is very enabling. And that's why you have different sectors that can contribute to improving nutrition. Okay, look at agriculture. Yeah, that's about food production and food processing and making food available and all that. You want to make sure that food is diverse, food is available all the time, and that's quite important. And the nice thing is that the government has been taking measures to improve nutrition through agriculture. In the last few years, or there has been that consciousness about a decade ago on how do we ensure that we don't just produce to feed, we produce to nourish, we produce to nurture, and how do we ensure that there's that diversity. So that's quite important. And government has put in place those policies. But that's why for the first time we have the agricultural food security and nutrition strategy. And then you go to health too.
Sorry to cut you, but I wanted to bring that back and relate it to something that happened in America. For the past 10 years, there's been a loud call for the rate of obesity. And the government's actually put this on the shoulders and said that we have to do something about it because the average American is, overweight, they say. And there have been movements, even on social media and by individuals, or mostly by communities, and that's where I'm coming. Do we form communities here in Nigeria that have that attend to these nutritional needs for people as a whole, Nigerians? If they could say, okay, fine, we have to eat healthier, a movement of such should be able to push that agenda where it will have the attention of the government and all. Do we have these communities at all? Let's talk about clean water, for instance. Let's talk about drainage systems and all of that, which inadvertently, at the end of the day, come back to what we put into our systems. Do those communities exist, and how can we form these communities if they don't?
Yeah, there are a lot of civil society groups that help to mobilize communities, to create awareness, to create understanding. Sometimes they've come through the health system. In the health system, apart from the facilities, you also have to make outreaches to the communities. And then you walk around mother groups and care groups, or bring traditional leaders together to understand what the issues are. So there are several efforts to bring communities together, use participatory methodologies to understand their ecosystem.
Which is funny, in the 80s, I remember, yes, I'm that old, in the 80s, I said it. I remember the drive where very interesting dramas, and I don't call them circus groups, groups would go from schools to houses with dramas and all. I think they were trying to lessen the rate of kwashiorkor, so they had to educate mothers, especially children as well, on means to not fall prey to that disease. And it was very interesting, but I don't see any of that happening right now. One drive I'd like to see is the fact that as Nigerians, we eat unhealthy because, especially in metropolitan cities, if only I could go vegetarian, I would love to, but I can't. Why? Because it's not available. Why isn't it available? If you're going to be vegetarian, then you must eat fresh foods. We don't have access to fresh foods. If we do, we don't have access. We don't have the ability to store them and keep them fresher for longer. That's the drive I'd like to see. That's the community I'd like to see going about. I don't know. Do you think that this is possible or not?
No, I think it's possible, but I just want to drive back. I like the fact that you raise obesity and all that, so that we're not just talking about the undernutrition and deficits, but also the other side of excesses and all that. But there's a connection between those two, that if you get it right in early stage, then it can lead to long-term benefits that can reduce obesity. And so that's why you need to look at critical interventions across sectors that can help ensure that people are well-nourished, mothers are fine, children are doing okay, and then communities are mobilized to have conversations on nutrition.
Mr. Ajieroh, it's always a pleasure having you here. It makes me see nutrition from a totally different angle. I'm still going to start my community. If you want to be a vegetarian like what I want to be, if you think we need a drive or a community, let's get together on social media. Maybe we can have you as our consultant. Do stay tuned. We've got more coming away inside of Wake Up Nigeria. My name is Masino Appeal. We'll be right back.